we have E to IE stem changing verbs. We've discussed before the U to UE and the O to UE stem changing verbs. Here's another series of them. There's 5 types of stem changing verbs. This is the second of the ones that we have talked about. And when we deal with this, again, stem changing verbs, they're a pain. They really are. I'm not a fan of them because we're just so comfortable dealing with chopping off the ending and adding the new ending. And now we have to, so cringely, have to say fiddle with the middle. And all that's happening here is there's been a vowel shift. So we had Latin that's converted to Spanish, and the vowels have shifted around. And now we have to mess with this stuff. So here you would think, oh, chop off ER and you would do caro, but that's, you can even hear that sounds weird. So the E's can change to IE if it falls in the boot. And we say the boot is that dark shaded area. I did not make up this boot thing. I've had students tell me it looks like a skillet, looks like Oklahoma, foam finger, but this is what I've been shown before. So here it's going to be yo quiero. And you can see right here that E changed to an IE. Same thing for tú, it's in the boot, and you have to be like, oh shoot, it's a boot. Gotta mess with the middle. So here, still chop off the ER and add the ES, but now fiddle with the middle. E's can change to IE. So instead of quieres, it's gonna be quieres, and that means you want in the present tense. Él, ella, usted, they all share the same type of conjugation format. And here, still chop out the ER and add the E because it's an ER verb. But the E's can change to IE because it's the heel of the boot. Quiere. So quiero, quieres, quiere. I want, you want, he or she wants, or you formal want. Now, nosotros and vosotros, we're lucky those are outside the so-called boot. So you don't have to mess about with the middle. So this one, just leave the E alone in the middle. So nosotros, you don't have to worry about, oh shoot, boot. You just leave that one alone. Business as usual. Queremos. Same thing with vosotros. That's outside the boot. So querréis. But ellos, ellas, and ustedes, that's the toe of the boot. So you're still in the boot. Then you're going to have to get the shift. So E's going to change to IE here. Quieren. Altogether, it's the present tense of to want. I want, you want, he wants, they want, we want, all that fun stuff. And this is just something, I'm just slow dripping a few stem changing verbs to you. There's over 100 stem changing verbs, and you just have to memorize them as they come. I'm just trying to give you 3 to 4 at a time so you can get comfortable with the concept of them. But after a while, like all things, you follow the pattern, you got this. And here is my jinky looking boot. To help you remember, querer means I want, or to want. I always remember back in the early 2000s, the Taco Bell dog, he used to say, yo quiero Taco Bell. It's a good way to help you remember I want. Go ahead, look up on YouTube the Quiero Taco Bell dog commercials. They're adorable. It was fun times. Back when tacos were only 49 cents. Here's another one. All right, we got the verb preferir. And this one's tricky, and I like doing this one. One, because it's IR verb, and we always need to practice the IR verbs. But this one's tricky because we know we have to change the E to an IE, but if you look at this one doesn't have like before just a stem and ending. Here we have a prefix, pre, then you have the stem, the fer, and then you have the ending, ir. So you have to be careful. So many times students want to change this first E here, but no, you have to change the second E. Remember, it's called a stem changing verb. It's the stem of the verb, not a prefix changing verb. So we're not changing that first E, we're changing the second E. So don't try to go with like prefier. I don't even know how terribly wrong that would be, but still chop out the IR and that middle E, the one after the F, in the stem, not the prefix, you're going to change. So here you're going to say prefiero. You see where it changed right there? And again, if you were to keep that at E, let's see if I can say it incorrectly. Prefero. I think that's how you would say it incorrectly. Here, in the to form, that's in the boot. That's in the middle where your ankle would go in the boot. So that one is prefieres. Same thing, el, usted. Imagine that's the heel of the boot. Prefiere. Nosotros, vosotros. No worries. Business as usual. Preferimos. Vosotros preferís, and ellos, ellas, ustedes, that's the toe of the boot, prefieren. And there you're saying in the present tense, I prefer, you prefer, he or she prefers, we prefer, y'all prefer, they or y'all prefer. Stem changing verbs. They're annoying, but Once you get some practice, you got it. Ugly boot. So let's practice this real quick. We're going to practice alternate between preferir and querer. Pause the video, try this out on your own, and come back and check your answers. All right, trusting that you paused the video. My parents prefer to walk in the park. So, mis padres prefieren pasear por el parque. Did you remember to change the E to IE in the stem and not the prefix? Hopefully you did. One other thing to watch out for, preferir is like the verb poder. It's oftentimes going to be followed up by another verb. Leave that other verb in the infinitive. See here, pasear. Notice I kept the AR on there. That's okay, because I already conjugated the first verb. Leave that second one alone. All right, the second one, we're saying, do y'all want to go to the downtown area, the center? So here it's, vosotros is outside the boot, so you don't have to worry about a stem change. Queréis. She prefers to visit monuments. So ella prefiere visitar monumentos. I want to play the piano. Yo, okay, the yo is in the top part of the boot. So that's yo quiero tocar el piano. And remember, tocar means to play for an instrument. Don't do jugar. Jugar is to play sports or to play like Monopoly or some board game. Some board game that you'll probably fight with your siblings over because Monopoly is awful. I hate that game. All right, moving onward. Number 5, you want to take in the sun on the beach is literally what you're saying. You want to sunbathe on the beach. So, tú quieres tomar el sol en la playa. That's what you're saying right there. Yeah, I know. Whenever you see boot verbs, just deal with the ending and then just remember like, oh shoot, it's a boot. And you have to fiddle with the middle. Here's some other stem changing verbs. Now, like I said, there's like over 100, but here's some so you could get the hang of it. These ones are E to IE stem changing ones. So we have the verb cerrar. So, and I highlighted in blue the ones that are going to change to IE in the boot. Comenzar, to begin. You could think like when you commence something. Entender is to understand. So when people say, hey, ¿entiendes? Pensar is to think or to plan. Querer, we've already played with. Perder is to lose, like losing your mind over these stem changing verbs. Empezar is a synonym role of to begin. So you can say comenzar or empezar. Those just so happen to mean to begin, and both have to be stem changing verbs. And then preferir, the one we practiced earlier. And I chose again preferir because I like to make you guys pay attention to the fact there's a prefix, there's a stem, and there's an ending. So here's just a handful to memorize. The more you get familiar with the language, it's going to be easy. Native speakers, they just naturally do it without even thinking, just like we do in our own native language. All right, guys, go ahead, pause the video, and give these guys a whirl. I did help you out, and I put in blue the vowel that's going to get the stem change if it falls in the boot. Okay, let's check our answers. Uncle Ernesto wants tamales. So tío Ernesto, we're talking about he, él, that's in the boot. So quiere tamales. You and your friends, so I'm trying to get you to say y'all. You have 2 choices for y'all. You could say vosotros or ustedes. So you could say prefieren or preferís. If you choose ustedes, that's in the toe of the boot. If you chose vosotros, it's outside the boot. So it's up to you. Just remember, vosotros is more used in Spain, not in the rest of Latin America, not so much. So you're saying y'all prefer to study outside. Prefieren estudiar afuera. Number 3, classes begin at 8:25. Las clases, so you're talking about the classes. So you're talking about they. Essentially, you're talking about like ellas. So las clases comienzan a las 8:25. You lose your pencils every day. I have several students that are like that. So tú pierdes tus lápices cada día. Number 5, my cousins close the window. Mis primos cierran la ventana. It's an AR verb. Watch out for that. So yeah, we have number 1 is ER verb. Number 2 is an IR verb. Number 3 is AR verb. Those rules are still going to apply. O, as, a, amos, ais, an, and all the rest. Number 6, I start homework at midnight. That is not a good time to start your homework. So, yo comienzo la tarea a la medianoche. Number 7, y'all plan to visit our relatives. So, vosotros pensáis, A visitar a nuestros parientes. 8, we understand the lesson. Nosotros, that's outside the boot, entendemos la lección. Good job. If you're getting this, fantastic. It's just all about drilling and patterns. Speaking of more practice, here you go. There's not much to this other than practicing them sentences and doing some reading and speaking. But pause the video, try this out, and then we'll go through the answers. All right, let's check it out. Yo cierro. Comienza, to begin. Perdemos, we lose. Cierran, they close. Pierden, y'all lose. Empiezas, you start. Vosotros queréis, y'all want, or you plural want, we want to be dignified. Elena and Gloria start, comienzan. She prefers, ella prefiere. My friends think or plan. Mis amigos piensan. Here's some more practice just in case you're not feeling comfortable. He understands. All right, you could say entender for that boot verb. I know comprender means to understand, but I'm trying to force you to do the boot. So, entiende. We close. Cerramos. Ellos prefieren. Ellos means they. Y'all, oh, you got two choices for y'all. You could say entienden or entendéis. To begin, there's two ways to say to begin. So it's your choice, dealer's choice here. Now, you familiar tú, so you could say comienzas or empiezas. Y'all, Spain, perdéis. You formal, so I'm trying to get you to be respectable like. So usted quiere. She closes. Ella cierra. Like I always say, cierre la puerta. She begins. Comienza or empieza. And we prefer, be careful, this is an IR verb with a prefix, but it's outside the boot. Whew, thank goodness. So don't have to worry about shoot, it's a boot. Preferimos.